Shalom and welcome to Education in Time of War. My name is Rachel Raz, and today with me Orly Lavi Travish, joining me all the way from Los Angeles. So welcome, Orly.
Hello, Rachel. Shalom, Rachel.
It's great to have you. And Orly
For having me.
Thank you. Orly is an educator, an entrepreneur, and she has many projects and many initiatives that she started, and she's going to share some of them with us today. But I highly recommend to be in touch with Orly, learn more about her work. She founded the online school 972 Education Inc. For those who don't know, 972 is actually the number to call Israel. Which I love, very clever name, Orly. And she's going to share it.
I must give the credit to my husband for that name.
Excellent. And this is an online school both for students, but also to train teachers. You also started the program, it's called Safa al Sapa, a language on the sofa. It's a play with the word in Hebrew, where it's online. You bring expert in the field of second languages and acquisition of second languages, and it's open for educators from around the globe. You also have a Facebook, you have several Facebook groups with different topics that you're going to share with us. And you also have, it's called Zikaron B'Museon, remembering in a museum in collaboration with the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C.
No, in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles, yes, in Los Angeles, thank you. And today I invited Orly to join us because I noticed that since the war in Israel in October 7, you continue some of your work, but you also adapted and changed. For our audience that it's their first time joining us online, we're referring to the war in Israel that started in October 7, 2023 by Hamas organization, terror organization on Israel, with the killing of over 1,500 people, kidnapping about 250 people. And as we talk today, 254 days since that horrible day. We're talking about 120 hostages still. The youngest one is Kfir Bibas, and I know that you also created a full unit around Kfir. And when we think about education and early education in general, we can't stop thinking about the children that are affected on this war, but in other wars and around the globe, young children are suffering, and it's important to think about them and bring them to our attention. So this is a little bit, but again, you're going to share more with us with information. Today, we're going to focus on two things. One is your project about Zikaron in the Museum. We'll start with that. And later on, we're going to talk about some of your very inspiring units that you developed in curriculum since October 7. So Orly, tell us about Zikaron B'Museon, remembering in the museum. Is this a new thing? When did you start? Why? How does it work?
So Zikaron B'Museon started as a personal matter that was really, it's bothered me a lot. It started when my youngest came back from school. It was in the International Holocaust Remembrance Day. She started middle school, and I asked her, okay, it's Remembrance, International Remembrance Holocaust Day. Did someone talk to you about it? Because I said, okay, you're in middle school, it's appropriate age. I know that the differences between Israelis and Americans, the age appropriate, talking about specific things are different. And I said, okay, middle school, it's about time that you will start learning about these things. And I was surprised that nobody mentioned it. I was expecting, even a lesson or an assembly or something. but nobody mentioned it. And then I started seeing, receiving, via WhatsApp group, the moms group. Nobody mentioned about the Holocaust, International Holocaust Day. And I said, yes, I was very surprised to see that. And this is not okay. And I was very upset, but I was not concerning about my own kid, because I'm very involved in the Israeli community. I'm volunteering for almost, I was volunteering for almost 10 years in the Mati Merkaz Tarbut Israeli. It's a Israeli center here in Los Angeles, and I was taking my kids to all the ceremony, to all the Yom HaZikaron Memorial Days and the Holocaust Memorial Days ceremonies. So my kids well known about all these topics, but I was concerned about all the rest of the kids. They don't know about this piece of history, very important history. And I started thinking, this is not right. I need to do something. And, some of the parents were saying, well, you're too rush saying this is not okay and this is not right. We should do something about it. And I said, yes, I need to do something about it. And then I was thinking, and suddenly I realized that I have a friend. Her name is Anat Sadan, and she is a tour guide in the Holocaust Museum in Los Angeles. She's giving tours in English and in Hebrew. And I said, why don't we give a tour to the students in our neighborhood, and for free, and we can teach them about their history. I live in a very Jewish neighborhood, and I called her, I picked up the phone, and I said, listen, this is what happened. This is really upsetting me, and I think we need to do something. And she immediately said, yes, let's do it. And then we said, you know what, we can do it. Can we do it online? Can we do these tours online? And we can, probably other schools are not doing anything about it, so let's open it. And so we did, and we started doing these tours online. I started publishing it via my Facebook group for teachers, and I started telling it to the parents of my students, and Anat was spreading the word around her connections. And we started these tours twice a year during the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and during Yom HaShoah VaGvura, when we commemorate it in Israel. So twice a year, and we were working during the clock, giving tours all around the world for any school who wanted to expose this tour to their students.
So
And
what changed? So you've been doing it for several years now, which I think it's so important, because we look at what's happening in the street, and so many young people don't really know what's the Holocaust. They're using words like genocide in a way that it's not appropriate. They're using the word Holocaust without really understanding what it is. So there is something about the school system that we need to think about, how to bring this history and teach it so people know what's going on. So what happened? What changed? What change did you see since October 7, I would say?
So one thing that changed was that this year we started receiving public schools that wanted to join our tours that we didn't receive until now. So this is our third year. We are going to the fourth year. So this was really, we were closing the tour, and both of us were with tears because they know nothing. We know that because of the questions that were asked from, the students were asking, and we were in tears. And we started changing a little bit the content. We started explaining more the terms anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, which is not really different. And we also started showing, we have exhibition in the museum of books that, the Nazis were using to teach their kids about the Jewish community or the Jewish people. And now we have books from Gaza that they were using the same books or similar books, caricatures that are using the same content to use against Jews. So we are showing that the same things, the same content are used against Jews, and we are showing that where hate can lead us, where hate can end. So this is something that we're more focusing this year. We were more focused after October 7th. Yeah. Oh, we can't hear you.
And I know that you invited me to join one of these
Yes.
sessions that I joined you. And I think it's very important because, as you mentioned, we see generations of young people that didn't learn the history. And when you don't know the history, you don't understand many different things. So it's a very important history in the world that it's important to teach. So I hope that, first of all, schools that are not doing it yet, they will reach out to you or reach out to other museum or other organizations. For those that are Jewish or non-Jewish, to understand that we need to teach vocabulary, we need to teach how people are kind of brainstorm and brainwashed, to do different things, and how to really be careful from violence.
Right.
Yes, so thank you, Orly. First of all, and another lesson that I would say that, and this might lead us to one of the unit that you created later on, that it's one person sometimes realizing that there's something is missing and taking it on ourselves and not waiting for the system to change it or do anything.
Yeah,
So
I knew that if I'll wait for we received a letter from the school. Oh, it is a memorial, the International Remembrance Holocaust Day. So why don't you take a few minutes with your kids to explain them, well, it's not going to work this way. So I said, I have to do something. And I took it upon me and I said, we are going to do it. And we're doing it as long as we can, we have schools from Israel, from all around the world that are joining us, thanks to Zoom.
to Zoom. Yeah, no, that's exciting. That's very nice. I want to jump now, from learning about the past. There was an organization Facing History in Ourselves, because that over the years I worked with, that doing the same work, very important work. But I'm going to jump now to your Hebrew as a second language that you're teaching students. And as I mentioned, we are very far away from physically where the war is, but it's impacting. When you teach Hebrew, this is the language that's being spoken in Israel. You're also teaching Israeli culture as part of that, so it's definitely impact. Some of the units are created because you were inspired by something. Sometimes it was by a student asking you. So I want to, if you can share with me and the audience some of these units that you created. I know that there was one about like mourning. When
Yes. Can I share my screen
yes,
now?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay,
absolutely,
let me go
absolutely.
to oops. Wait, let me go straight to my units. Yeah. So I wrote several units after October 7th, and one of them was the morning costume of morning avelut, and this actually came from one of my students. I'm teaching all ages, all levels. So this one came from one of my oldest students, of course. I'm not teaching these to my youngest. Um, Hopefully they will wait with this. This is the unit that I never thought I will ever write, but came from, you know, the students. So I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to teach him about the morning in Israel, because it's very different. One of the things that we're teaching is the differences between the two cultures, right? The Israeli culture and the American culture. In America, you won't see, these kind of flyers about who died, where do you sit Shiva, when is the funeral, where is it taking place? And this is something, it's very open, it's very, it's very, everybody can see where is it taking place, and etc., etc. And this is something that it's very hard to explain to American about what's going on in Israel regarding mourning customs in Israel.
Yeah, and for people that never visited Israel, just that they know, sometimes you see these like black and white flyers glued to walls and trees and houses, and they are with information about the person that passed and where the family is sitting and what they're doing. So it's public. It's like in America, sometimes if you're a member of a synagogue, it will be sent out as an email. There can be like obituary in the newspaper, but in Israel it's outside. You walk around and you see the names.
And I say that I live in a building, and I would never know if my neighbor died, and unless I wouldn't see him for a long time. And even then, I would not know if he moved or he died. I wouldn't know. But in Israel, you will know because of this thing.
Yeah,
Um,
and of course, because there were so many deaths. People were slaughtered, murdered,
right.
killed. So there was like, it was vast, it was everywhere. I know
Yeah.
that I know so many people that were impacted, first degree, like my niece lost four of her
Right.
friends in the Nova Festival.
Yeah,
I
and
know that you
he actually wanted to know what are you what do I say to the family? What do I say to a family? Not that he knows someone, but what do I say to a family if one of, God forbid? So he wanted to know. So we have phrases that we're saying to the family who is sitting a shiva, when we're saying it, what we, etc., etc.
yeah. So
Another unit,
this one look interesting, adult only. So
yeah, adult only. Yeah, this is only also a unit that I wrote for only adult, and came from my guts. I felt after October 7th that I feel like cursing all the time, cursing, you know. I felt like, oh, I wanna so I wrote this unit in Hebrew. I love playing, as you know, I love playing with the words in Hebrew. So Ivrit klalim veklalot, as you can see, you write it differently, but klalim is rules and klalot is curses. So klalim veklalot. And apparently, if you curse, there was a research about cursing. If you curse a little bit, you can release yourself. You can feel a little bit of releasing your feeling. So we are gonna read this. We read this article and what it's giving your brain and your body and etc. And sure enough, this very famous song came out, and if you know it, and if you don't know it, you should go and listen to it. It made a lot of noise around the world, not only in Israel, Harbo Darbo, which has a lot of curses in it. But every time I heard this song, it gave me release. I don't know. And the Academy of the Hebrew Language has some advices how you should curse in Hebrew if you want to.
And nicely. What are nice?
Nice, in a nice way. So
Or
we
in
are
a
gonna,
clean way or a clear way.
in a clean way.
Interesting.
And then this is another unit that I called it Jupiter. I don't know if everybody knows, but Jupiter, the star, it's Kochav Tzedek. So I called it Jupiter. I also, again, I'm playing with the words. So איך זה שכוכב אחד מעז, it's a song in Hebrew, but this unit
And I'm translating that it's how one star
there
dare to do something. Yeah.
do something. How dare he, right? And this unit was I was inspired by Shai Davidai or Davidai. I don't know how to really pronounce his last name, but this guy, from a professor from Columbia University, the first time I saw him, I was like, who is this guy? How dare he? I was jealous at him, at his bravery to stand up and against all these anti-Semitism in his university, and saying all these things that he had to say. And I was inspired by him and started writing the unit about him. But then another star popped up, not only Jews. In this unit you will find Noah Tishby, and you will find Noah Kochva, which was the beauty queen from Israel, and other stars, but not only Jewish stars, also non-Jewish stars. This one is, I love her, Caroline Damore, the pizza girl, that's how they call her. I follow her on Instagram, and this girl is like standing up for the Israeli, and she couldn't care less about her followers. She has thousand millions, I don't know, followers, and she couldn't care less if she loses them or loses her customers. And she is, standing by the right side. And I
and and
felt
and
inspired.
and this is something, I want to add to it, Orly. I know that you spoke also about Shai and about Caroline. Both of them in some way are following the values, like the American values. I would call it the humane values. Like if
Yes,
you look at her sign, she said, bring back our girls. Because we were talking about many girls that were kidnapped, raped, and nobody is coming outside from all of the Me Too movement and other women rights movement. And it doesn't matter you agree with politics or not agree with politics, but rape is not, it's not a weapon of war.
yeah.
Hostages of children, it's not a weapon of war. So I think that both Shai and her are also really fighting for the American value to the Western values, and it's very hard, through this tsunami of people that are repeating some ideas that they don't really understand, that this is not against Jews. It's not really just anti-Semitism. It's not just against Israelis, but it's
It's
really
humanity.
about the core values of American and core value, I would say, of humanity.
Humanity, absolutely. And this is, and I want to say, and I want to add that I'm not only teaching Hebrew and Israeli culture, I'm also teaching my students. I feel like I'm an educator. I'm not just an Hebrew language teacher or Israeli culture teacher. I'm also an educator. This is my job, not only to teach you the language. I'm teaching you how to be a good citizen, no matter where you live in the world, no matter where you're going to be a better man or a better woman when you're leaving my classroom. And I'm not teaching them only the words. I'm not teaching them only culture. They're going to be a good human being.
Yeah, and,
So
and hopefully inspired to have, through the material that you create, the opportunities to think about what's right and wrong for themselves. It's not a cut and paste of what they see on social media that sounds right, but really to learn deep inside. And I
and and this is giving them opportunity to see what can they do, even if they're now at sixth grade or seventh grade or eighth grade, and they don't feel now that they can act, they can do something. It will sit there. I'm putting the seeds in there in them. Maybe one day they will feel that they are ready, they will get the inspiration, and they will find their way. They don't have to be Shai Davide, they don't have to be Caroline. They will be who they are. So
that's great.
I feel this is my mission to to grow leaders, our future leaders.
And
So
and I know now we're going to touch about a very special unit that it's
yeah,
the face that got into all of our hearts, so many hearts. This
yeah,
is like Kfir Bibas, and again we're talking about education, children. It's heartbreaking, the 254 days. He and his family, his brother and his mother, Shiri, and his father, Yarden. We don't know what's going on with them, where they are in Gaza, what's their situation, and no one should be in this position. So tell us about this special unit that I understand that it's still, unfortunately, there is no, you're waiting for the day that they'll be freed, that you can add this, and welcoming back, and we all pray for that. So tell us a little bit about this unit.
I'm writing this unit and I'm still crying every time I'm adding another slide to this unit. I'm really crying, and this unit, first, my oldest is a redhead, and every time I see a redhead, I cannot, look at them and not, have a tear in my eyes now. So this is a unit that I started writing when I saw that Galila Ron Feder Amit, which is a very famous author in Israel, she wrote the series Gingy, which is a very famous also series of books for younger kids. And she wrote another chapter just for those two kids, and it's called From Gingy, מכתב לג'ינג'ים, a letter for Ginjim from a Gingy, to the redheads from Gingy, the star of the series. And it was published in the newspaper. So I decided to bring it to my class and to teach Hebrew through this story, and to teach about the author. And, this is how I teach, I teach Hebrew through culture. And so I brought this into my class, and we learn songs about redheads, and we are talking about, do you have someone in your family who is redhead? And this is not, a sad unit about, oh, we are, sad all the time, but this is I meant to write this unit to make sure that the Bibas family and the rest of the hostages are in their awareness. It's not just to remember, it's all the time in their, head. We cannot forget the hostages. And then, came Thanksgiving. So we made orange soup. So they have, here it's a video, and they have to check if they have all the ingredients here on the.
Yeah. So you played with the color orange in some way to kind of to keep thinking about it. And
Yes.
I know that lots of people, I noticed that you're wearing your necklace.
Yes.
With the yellow ribbon.
It's all the time I'm holding it to, I remember. It's not, sometimes I hear people saying that this yellow symbol is just it's just nothing. It is.
Yeah.
I
It's
put
for
it
us.
because I need to remember. Otherwise, you're going back to your.
Yeah. Like I have here behind me,
The
and I can share. I have the kalaniot, because they're like the Roma Dome, because these are the flowers that bloom in the southern part of Israel. But I also have here the October 7th dome.
Mhm.
And, so it's not that I don't remember them without those things, but I want it all over around me to not forget, not even for a second. It's in our memory, and hopefully will make us share it like we're doing right now, and sharing it with all people, that hopefully it will help to bring them back, because it's not okay that people freedom was taken like this, and young children like that.
Yeah, and it's unbearable and unbelievable that people are, don't think that this is something that we are not going to fight for. This is not okay. So here is, you know, and then Purim came, and then Passover came, and you know, and every time I'm bringing it back into my classroom in a different way. So it's not only that I'm bringing it back to remind them, but as I told you, I'm not just teaching them the Hebrew language. I'm not just teaching them words. I'm also teaching them how to be activists. So what will we do in order to not forget them? So I'm bringing them an article from the news that in Central Park in New York, there were everybody were wearing the Batman's costume, and they were bringing the awareness about the Bibas family and the rest of the hostages. So what can you do? So I'm putting the responsibility.
And for people that are not familiar, you know, the Batman, there is one famous picture of the family all wearing pajamas of Batman.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
because
that's where it came from, because people are trying to find ways to think, you know, what if it was me or you or somebody that we love, or we are all be, you know, how can we create this awareness?
yeah,
And I know you're, yeah,
Ariel was the Purim before the Purim 2022. I think he was wearing a Batman costume.
I
So
see.
yeah, and then on Passover, and then Shavuot came, and I can't wait for this unit to end well, and there is still the slide that end this unit is we're waiting for you to come back. There are
Yeah.
two redhead kids that are coming back home. So
And I know this is the last unit that you're going to share.
yes.
Something that came up that you noticed after October 7th.
Yes. So and there are more units that I wrote, but we're going to end with this one.
Just for today, we can't.
Yes.
I can invite you again, or we can record about each one of these units, a full podcast. But just, you know, just it's a taste for everybody to see your creativity, and also the thoughtfulness that going to, you know, what a class look like. You're not just taking a book, but you're observing and reacting to the world around us.
I just want to say that all the units that I also, you know, have already, there are tweaks. You know, I'm always changing according to what's happening. You know, I'm not teaching from a book. I don't have a book that I'm using. I'm teaching only, you know, my curriculum. You know, I'm writing my own curriculum, and the units that I have, you know, I'm putting in all the time things that I'm tweaking it according to, you know, the audience that I have and according to what's happening around us. So just you know, to put
Yeah,
this
it's
out there.
emergent curriculum, because things are constantly changing. It's not fixed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
according
this
to
last year,
who are my students, according to the level, according to where they're coming from, you know, they're conservative, they're secular, they're you know, it depends. And this one came after I saw you know, the rise of the anti-Semitism, and I saw that, you know, students are really scared, and I was scared. Let's put it out there, right? I was scared of what's going on here in the, you know, the campuses, you know, at the university, at the colleges. And I said, well, we need to, you know, remember who we are, and to to put out there our Jewish identity, our Jewish Israeli identity, our Jewish maybe American identity. And here I'm playing again with the words me, ani, who am I? And put out there, who are you? Write all the, you know, adjectives that describes you. And let's show our Jewish pride, whether it's with your, you know, costumes that you're doing at your home, during holidays, what kind of, you know, what kind of shirts do you have in your closet that shows your Jewish pride? Do you have חולצה של צה"ל, you know, IDF t-shirt? Do you have Magen David, you know, Star of David shirt? Or do you tie your shoes in a Star of David shape? Or what do you do in order to show your Jewish pride? I started seeing kids that are, you know, they're going under instead of going, you know, standing tall. And here you will see some students, you know, I took, you know, some students, leaders from the campuses that started talking, even went to the UN and gave some speeches. So this is this unit.
Yeah, and I know like there's a girl in my community, a fifth graders, that in the beginning at school, she got bullied a little bit, but then at Girl Scout, they had like International Day, and she asked her troop to do activities about Israel, to teach and educate, because she realized that most people, and as many people don't know that actually Jews are only 2% in the American society. Israel is even much, much smaller, Israeli Americans. So most people don't really know what Judaism is about. They never met a Jew and they don't know much about it. So the fact that sharing, you know, Judaism and sharing Israel with audiences, this is and I see more and more people are doing it. And in some way, for me, also like sharing this blog was, can we share what we know and what's going on here and there with the wider community? And that's the reason it's in English, even though I know that usually most of your work is in Hebrew,
Right.
but to know that it's important to share and share what we are proud of, what we believe it's like shared values with American values, and what we believe these are better values to live together in respect. So thank you very much, Orly. Before we end, I know that this summer you're having a conference. I know that you're already you also have a podcast. You're working on a few other things. Maybe you want to share a few things with us before we conclude our.
Yeah, sure. I will add that after October 7, I had I worked with Nikki from Shagat Aryeh, my group of teachers. We combined together and we started working with kids in Israel during the war. I'm still working with my students since October 7th. I still work with her, and we're having the best time ever.
And for people that are not familiar with this, I have a separate podcast with Nikki.
Yes.
When October 7th happened, she realized that lots of kids don't have school or access to school. And also the Israeli don't have the capacity for teachers to teach. So she asked volunteers around the globe to teach the children of Israel. And I was also one of them. And there are many people, and we taught kids in many weird hours of the day, depends where we are around the globe. And it's wonderful to hear that you're still in touch with your students.
And I even met her in Israel when I went in. I met her and her mom. It was very. We are now family. That's it.
It's wonderful. So what is this? This is an upcoming conference this summer in
Yes.
August? Yeah.
Yes, this one is the second conference that I initiated, and this is going to be a very, very amazing conference that I can't wait to be in my conference, because I'm going to learn a lot from these people. This lineup is amazing. It's called the Authentic Teacher in the AI era. So it's not all about AI, but this is the future of the Hebrew language teacher. So I'm really hoping that more and more teachers started signing up for it. I hope that more and more teachers will join us. Last year was a huge success for my first Kenes, 972 Edu Kenes. This year we're gonna have really more. We're not only going to talk about AI, but we are going to put emphasis on AI and how it's going to help us as language teacher in the classroom. AI is not going anywhere. It's not going to go back into the barrel. It's here. It's here to help us. It's here to reduce the amount of work that we are going to put in and leave us more to create, more to be
So Orly, don't tell them everything about the conference. I think you gave them a great teaser. We will put a link in the bio and the information of this podcast, so they can log in, they can learn more about it. But I highly, we recommend people to come. And I know that you also have a podcast. So the podcast is in Hebrew, correct?
Right. The podcast is in Hebrew, and it's the first podcast about how to teach a language in Hebrew. There are many podcasts in English and other languages, but it's in Hebrew for language teachers. And I also wanted to mention my 3 pages on Facebook. This one is the most useful for teachers. This is a library that you can really go to and just take materials for free, really.
And this is actually how I learned about you.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah, so thanks to social media that allowed us to connect.
So really, this is my contribution to the community. Everything is there for you just to go there and take. I know how Hebrew teacher, not only Hebrew teachers in general are working really, really hard to, do their best for their students. So this is there for you. Just take it and work less time at home. Hebrew Words Around the World is a nice page that Hebrew teachers can use as well. There are people from around the world who sees Hebrew words around the world. They're taking pictures, uploading it, tag the place, and that's it. Nothing more. It's a fun page to go through. And this is my business page, 972 Education, Hebrew Language and Israeli Culture Instruction. There you can find everything about Israeli culture, Hebrew language, mostly in English, but you can find me there, or there.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Orly. This is very, very excited, and I really want to thank you for sharing all of this with us. And I know that I'm sure that people would like to continue to learn from you, and we will include all of this information with this blog so they can reach out either for a visit with the museum or to learn with you through the training and conferences or ongoing through Facebook. So I want to thank you again. This is Education in Time of War. I'm Rachel Raz, and with me today was Orly Lavi Travish. And I want to thank you very much, Orly, for joining me and for all of the inspiring work that you are doing in the field to make an impact and educate and to bring good. So thank you very much, Orly.
I want to thank you for having me. That's a great honor to be here. Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Rachel.